Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So in this episode, what I'm going to do, I'll show you the code associated with Invocable Apex. So this code we're going to use in a flow to execute in a subscriber flow. If you remember that I've created a platform-driven based flow, and that flow will be calling another flow, but we couldn't use subflows in a platform event flows. So I need to write an invocable apex which triggers another flow. So that's the code I'm going to show you today. So it's pretty simple, right? This is a class name, and I've created the invocable method, right, which is a static void, and the name of a method, and then I'm passing an input parameter because obviously, if you don't do this, then it will only accept one param. Okay, but I need more than one param, right? First is the input. Obviously, the flow contains an input, right? You need to pass an input to flow and the API name of flow. So the way I did it, so just an input parameter, separate class, invocable variable. This is the flow name. This is the account defined type. So I wanted to pass an account defined params. So this is the one class I defined where I'll be passing an account ID and status. It can expand more in the future based on the requirement, but for now, these are the two fields I'm after. So I just created an account defined param. And then here, when this method runs, right? So I'm just getting a first instance because we are not trying to pass the multiple flows and multiple um, input, so we're just passing the first. So we always assume the zeroth position is what we are after. So I got the input, so I got the flow API name, could be the API name of any flow which you wanted to call. And this is the uh, flow param, which you're going to pass as the flow input. And this is the param, and this is the param value name. Now, just remember one thing. So when you create a flow, right? So if you're expecting an input, just name it exactly the same. Otherwise, if you name something else, it will not work, right? And you can use this for generic purpose, right? And then here I'm just passing a flow interval, and it's creating an interval flow, which in other words is triggering the flow with the flow API name and the flow params. And interval will start, means just trigger the flow. And any kind of error condition you can put it, right? Obviously, so we have an opportunity for improvement. So I can say, I didn't include any error logic here, so which is not really great. So like I said in yesterday's episode, I'll show you how you can do the code review using ChatGPT. So today I'm not going to use it. So but instead, right, when I look at the code, there's an issue with the code. There's no error logic, so I'm just going to do what if it fails, right? So it should capture it somewhere. For now, okay, the get message. That will keep us sorted. Okay, so this is pretty much in terms of error handling. You could write this to like a Nebula logger or external logger framework if you have in place. But for now, just an example, I'm not using any logger framework. So I mean, I can probably talk about logger framework in one of the future episodes, but not today. So in this case, I'm just logging to just a debug message, right? So which is not really ideal option, but for now it will do the job. So yeah, this all I wanted to discuss today. Now, someone asked me yesterday after my video that, hey, if ChatGPT gonna do everything, are we gonna lose the job? I mean, I've been asked the same question. I mean, in fact, I asked the question when I was younger, when Google came out. I think in 2004 or 2005, when I remember asking someone, "Hey, Google can do a lot of stuff, right?" And and there was a talk among conventional programmers, right? The programmers like Boomer generation, right? Like my dad generation, or people older than me. Like I was just a young early 20s, uh, lad. So just starting off for the first time and trying to get into the world of programming and engineering. So there was a lot of talk in that time, right? Hey, Google is out there. Google, you can search pretty much very efficiently in the Google. It can give you code snippet. So will that means that anyone with no programming experience can become a programmer? Yeah, so that kind of fear was there back in the days. Like the people have the same fear today with the Chat GPT, the younger generation. So all I have to tell you, right, nothing changed, to be honest. You see a lot of programmers in today's time. And yes, you can do a lot of things with the Google, right? You can copy paste stuff, but still that won't make you a good programmer if you don't understand the basic fundamentals, right? Yeah, um, ChatGPT can create a code for you, but you should know where to use it. It's like, you have a Lego box, right? You should know how to put them together, right? You will get different ideas on the internet how to do it, but you need someone to do it for you. Yes, there is a talk that we might be building robotics. We'll be infusing AI. We still have been robotics in place for ages, right? We have robotics. Japan uses robotics for a lot of things, right? You have robotics used in factories, right, where they manufacture car. But does that mean that they've replaced automobile engineers? Not really. There are engineers in place who does the design work, who's, a lot of manual, a task will be replaced, which is obvious, right? Just to improve the efficiency. But there's no way that they're going to replace humans. It's just a misconception. It's just a propaganda, fear propaganda. I've heard about that like 20 years ago. I'm hearing the same tone even today, right? Oh, we're going to happen, we're going to lose the job. Yes, you will lose the job if you're incompetent, right? It's been going on for since the day, you know, people start working. If you're not good in your task, if you're not doing your job properly, obviously a company will let you go, right? And at the end of the day, right, it's all about making profit for the company. And so I believe we will see a shift from a tool-driven economy to a value-driven, right? So the more value you bring to your customer, you will get more opportunities in life to do something different. So that's the way I look at it. So all I say, don't fear ChatGPT or Lambda AI. It's not going to come after you or take your job. It might replace certain aspect of your job with something else, but it's not going to replace you as a person or completely. That's just a misconception. That's just a propaganda that the people want to spread. So embrace the tool, make it useful for the things you want it to do, and make you more, um, how do I say, uh, productive, right? So that's all I wanted to cover in this episode. Hope you guys have an amazing Wednesday. Adios.